How you doing, Josh?
Not good, not
Not
good, man.
Okay.
I came here and I was like, I'm not in the greatest of moods. I need a
Okay.
coffee.
Yeah.
Of all the days for this kind of stuff to happen to me,
Mm-hmm.
we're setting up this set and it's all
Yeah.
good to make some stories.
Not too bad.
Christian's just throwing mad shade at me because he's just a jerk. And then out of nowhere, I'm just sitting here, minding my own business, and he decides to loosen my freaking mic,
Your freaking mic.
and it plummets into my balls.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's call that an
That
accident.
was a freaking.
That's an accident.
It was
That's
an accident. It was
That's
an
accident.
assassination attempt.
Assassination.
He's like, we can't have any more Joshes in this world. He's like, I'm gonna make it so that Josh can never have kids. I don't want little kids running around going, if your name is Christian and you're really handsome, come on, raise your hand.
That was beautiful, Josh. Luckily,
you.
you're safe. It was a studio accident. Don't worry. Our health and safety monitors said it was okay. Josh is alive. We're gonna probably take you to the doctors after this episode, so we're all good. But speaking of,
I don't think there's a segue, man. There's no segue.
There wasn't a
Welcome back to
segue.
the Real
Yeah.
Talk podcast. If this is your first time viewing, hi. Hopefully you like the video.
hi.
If you do, feel free to leave a like and maybe subscribe. Also comment on our videos. Check out our Instagram and our TikTok to see some smaller clips, just our funnier moments. Twitter, where you can see some of our updates. And check out our Patreon if you're ever feeling generous. Because I got like $30,000 of student loans coming my way when I graduate.
yeah,
Have you looked at your student? Have you guys looked at your student loan stuff?
Josh,
You just
I would be frightened if I saw it.
We're just gonna cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah, basically. Hopefully that bridge hasn't been destroyed or burned or anything
Crazy
like that.
considering that compared to like students in the States, this is nothing.
Yeah.
This is nothing. So
Yeah. Well, this episode's a little bit special,
Mhm.
I would say, because it's a particular filmmaker that I always found fascinating.
I would say fascinating is a good word.
Yeah, I think that's the best word to describe our filmmaker we're going to talk about today, M. Night Shyamalan.
Yay.
Yay! The twist master.
Oh yeah.
He is the
definitely.
master of twists. He goes from an amazing ending of a twist to a movie to being a terrible filmmaker. I'm just
That was the
kidding.
biggest twist. That was the biggest life
twist.
plot twist. Biggest plot twist was Christian slamming the freaking mic into my nuts.
Yo, that's an M. Night twist right
M.
there.
Night Shyamalan, 10 out of 10.
Nobody
Would
expected
watch
that.
again.
Oh my gosh.
If my life had a
Um,
laugh track.
That would be the biggest laugh track moment. But speaking of M. Night, how did you get introduced to M. Night Shyamalan?
Did you really want to go down this road so early in the episode?
He is our main filmmaker.
Well, there's a certain film that I'm sure we all figured I'm going to talk about
Mhm.
because I mentioned it a lot. It
Yes.
was The Last Airbender. Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. Oh,
That
no.
was the first M. Night Shyamalan film that I watched.
Jeez, that's a
When
rough
did that
start.
movie come out? I was probably 9 years old or
Oh
something.
09, 2010.
2010-ish.
Yeah.
I think that was the first time Shyamalan actually got like an actual huge budget for a film too. Like before then, his budgets weren't that large. But
They
he was
were
still making.
they
some-
were still large, but I think that was the one where it was like a popular IP to something.
It was like he got 100 million or something to make that film. I'm
150,
pretty
yeah.
150.
It was like because Nickelodeon owned the rights to
Yeah.
Last Airbender, and
Yep.
they're like, okay, this is our big IP. We want like everything in it, big budget, and then they gave it to M. Night.
Yeah.
And-
By the way, I'm probably gonna be coughing a lot in the episode because Christian assassinated my nuts.
Don't
so-
worry, we called the hospital already.
There's a coaster right there, man.
They're gonna be all, oh yeah, there's a coaster. What the heck, man? I gave you a coaster. You're like, anyways.
We give
Little-
Christian a cup of coffee, and then he's just like, "Oh, this is my house now." What?
Straight up, no,
I-
he did do the
Josh,
same
you
thing.
did the exact same thing.
Look at that. We got Christian a
Exact
microphone, guys.
Same
thing.
thing. So
It's Christian.
if you're wondering who the third voice is, it's Christian.
He's behind the
He's
camera.
behind the camera, and he's gonna tell us to shut up and yeah.
Now he doesn't need to like point at me to be like, tell Neves to push his mic back. He can just be like, Neves, push your mic back.
Yeah.
He's like, Josh, sit up.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Lost Airbender. I was 9 years old. I went to see it with my older brother, my younger brother Matt, my dad, and one of my cousins. And I remember right afterwards, we went to the Wendy's because it was the cinema where it's no longer like a cinema anymore. It's the Rec Room, I think it is.
Oh my gosh!
On
the,
Queen
oh,
Street?
that Mississauga, the movie theater in Mississauga.
No,
the Square
not
One.
Mississauga, not in Square One. Is it a Rec Room or is it a Palladium? I think it might be a Palladium.
Oh,
Okay, yeah,
sorry.
on Queen Street, right? Queen Street
Queen Street.
or Steeles?
Steels.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of the other theater
I know.
in the mall.
Yeah, the Rec Room. I went to the Rec Room actually over the winter break. But
Yeah, it's
anyways, so we went to that one, and then right afterwards we went to the Wendy's because I
yeah.
was like, I want to try Baconator. That was probably the highlight of my day because I came out of the Last Airbender loving it. I thought it was great.
Really?
I was 9 years old, and I tricked my brain into liking it. The
Yeah.
same way I tricked my brain into loving Jar Jar Binks and Star Wars Episode 1.
Oh my god.
I came out of it like, yeah, that movie was so good, yeah. And then I got a bootleg version from the flea market, and I was rewatching it. And then
Yeah.
I took a break from watching it,
Wow.
and then I had the DVD for the Nickelodeon show
Yeah.
that my older brother got me on my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching it, and I'm like, yeah, this is such a great show. Because before then, I was watching it on demand, and they'd like rotate episodes
Yeah,
like
yeah,
every few
reruns.
weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't get to watch every episode. So then my brother got me seasons 2 and 3 on DVD, the
Yeah.
box set,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd watch that religiously.
Wow.
And then I came back to the Last Airbender movie,
Mm.
and then I started watching YouTube videos on it. I was a little older,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Holy crap, this movie is shit! This movie's
Yeah.
absolute garbage! This is actually the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life."
Oh.
I think The Last Airbender will forever be the worst movie I've ever had the displeasure of watching.
Yeah.
With all that being said,
Oh my god.
how did you get introduced to M. Night
How did I
Shyamalan?
get introduced? Well, I got introduced with a more with a much better film, I would say, better received. I saw The Sixth Sense
Oh.
when I was I think I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
Which
Oh, by the way, before we viewer engagement, comment below what you guys think of The Last Airbender.
yes, comment
Is
below.
it shit or super shit? Let us know.
I have a lot of friends who have very passionate opinions on that particular movie.
It's a very divisive film.
I think it's agreed upon to be M. Night's worst film.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And then
Because it's not only a terribly made film, but you also have the passionate fan base on top of that. So it's kind of like, oh my god, you like shit on top of shit.
Yep. And considering his history with like decent child actors, like you're about to get into Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense,
Child
yeah.
acting in The Last Airbender was not gored.
There was a lot of issues with just everything about that. But
Sixth Sense.
going back to Sixth Sense, I remember seeing that because my parents always talked about it and the twist ending and stuff. They always
Yeah.
love movies with twists in them, and they were like, "The Sixth Sense, oh, that's the ultimate one." I didn't know anything about the film, and then when the twist happened.
Yeah.
Also, are we cool with doing spoilers for this particular episode or no?
Spoiler warning for the following movies. If we could get like just like a list of the movies, Christian, is that possible?
That's
just
like I can just say them too to make your life easier. Sixth Sense,
Okay.
Unbreakable, probably Village, probably Lady on the Water, probably. I don't know how much we're gonna talk about each film, but those are the main ones. Basically,
It's
M. Night's
probably spoiling
filmography.
them.
Yeah. So lots
M. Night
of spoilers.
Shyamalan's filmography.
So if you don't want to get the spoilers, pause this episode, go
Yeah.
watch all those movies, and then come back. It's very important that you come back because we need to watch our viewership.
watch the episode. Anyways.
Anyways,
So
spoiler
yeah,
time.
Sixth Sense, the ending to that, I did not expect with Bruce Willis being dead the whole time.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit! Like I couldn't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, oh, this guy, what's another film he's made? And my dad's like, oh, well, he also directed this film called Unbreakable with Bruce Willis as well and Sam Jackson.
Yep.
And I was like, oh.
Those are some good performances he got out of them.
Oh my gosh, I watched Unbreakable and I didn't know the twist of that. I loved it. I loved it even more. What I loved about Unbreakable was the cinematography as well.
Mm-hmm.
I actually wrote an essay on it for film class, cinematography, because of how everything was lit differently. So, like Elijah Price's character was purple,
Mhm.
so they used a lot of purple colors in the scenery and the lighting. And Elijah, and then what was the Bruce Willis's character
Yeah.
was green,
Mhm.
so they use a lot of green colors and green and purple, orange, and all these vibrant colors because it's like a superhero film.
Yeah.
But it's set in the real world, so it was all about lighting. So I thought, man, that's really clever. So I'm like, oh, Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, these are two great films.
Yeah.
What's the next one? Signs.
Was that
So,
the Mark Wahlberg?
That's the Mel Gibson one. Mel Gibson
Mel-
and Joaquin Phoenix. That was the
Oh
Alien
yeah,
one.
but that's a good one, isn't it?
That's a divisive one. I watched
heard
it
good
and
things.
it was parts were boring.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, oh, maybe it's a slow burn. Maybe it has its audience. So I was like, you know what? It's M. Night trying something new.
Yeah.
I hated the ending to that, though. It was the aliens. Their weakness was water.
Oh.
And it's like, okay, if I'm an alien and I'm going to a planet, I think the one planet I wouldn't go to is one with
70% of it
70
being water.
water. I'm like, am
Dude,
I
do
what?
a little bit of reading.
So I think after that it was just like terrible films. Like The Village was boring.
Yeah.
Oh, The Village had a stupid ending too.
Yep.
Oh my god.
That's Bryce Dallas Howard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. A
Oh my
stupid
gosh.
movie.
Like, oh, it was actually a park reserve and
Oh
stuff
yeah.
like that.
Ooh,
And
the
I'm like,
Rangers.
that was so dumb. That's like forcing.
It's not the
it's-
17th century.
It's
Nani?
like, you know what that reminded me of? Like the best analogy I could have for The Village's ending was like, imagine you know, the circle hole, a hole, and you're trying to fit in a triangle into the hole and it's not fitting.
Hell.
Sorry, I didn't think that through, but you know what I mean. It doesn't fit.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the analogy I was going with. It doesn't fit because they were trying to force a twist ending into a movie, even though it didn't really need a twist ending. It could have been interesting on its own right.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. And then, in my opinion, because I have not seen Last Airbender, in my opinion, the worst M. Night film I have seen, The Happening.
Don't. Oh, I thought you were gonna say The Happening. Come on,
The
man. That's a
Happening.
comedy.
That is not a comedy.
That's a comedy, man.
I'm sorry.
You gotta just get a little buzz.
What? No. The part I laughed hysterically, I was in tears, was the moment where he's like, I think one of the kids was like, "Open the door! I'm gonna kick your ass" or whatever. And then the door opens, or like there was a shotgun slowly moving, and then Mark Wahlberg turns, and it's like in slow motion. It's like, Jamie! And it's like, boom! And then the kid gets shot, and he's like, ugh!
How could you not think? Okay,
I was in
what do you
tears.
think when you watch The Room or Room?
It's so bad, it's good.
Yeah, that's how I watch.
But here's the thing. I tried so hard. I was like, I thought it was a comedy. All of my friends were like, no, this is serious. I'm like, no, it isn't. I checked Wikipedia. It's like a drama. I'm like, it is not a drama horror. Get out of here. I watched interviews from M. Night back in 2007 because that's when it came out.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, this is kind of like Hitchcock type of thing. I'm like, Hitchcock? What are you talking about? This ain't Psycho. This isn't scary. This is one of the funniest comedies. No. Mark Wahlberg talks like
that's
this
probably-
the entire time.
I'm Mark Wahlberg.
I bought cough syrup at this. I didn't even have a cough. I just bought some cough
I think
syrup.
that's probably Mark Wahlberg's second worst performance. For worst performance I've seen.
Also
from
Zoe
him.
Deschanel's worst.
Oh,
It
yeah,
makes
she
you
was
kill
in that.
yourself. And she's just like staring at the screen. It's just, what happened? Did what? I don't know. Maybe it's just like they took drugs before making the movie. It's like, all right, you guys can act, right? The only actor that was good in the movie and tried was John Leguizamo's character.
Is John Leguizamo the guy from Chef and the Super Mario Brothers movie?
Yeah.
I love that guy.
He even in a terrible film like The Happening, I voice crack.
It's
Even
okay.
a terrible film
Neves is
like
going
that.
through the changes.
Even shut up. Coming from you, anyways.
And Neves used to make fun of me of that in high school.
I did.
What?
Oh, there you go. But yours was worse. It was like a extra pitch shift. Anyways, no, but The Happening, John Leguizamo gives a good performance in a terrible film, and I was like, oh, that's amazing. He's only in it for like 10 minutes, so doesn't.
I mean,
really
that's
matter.
probably for the best.
Yeah.
But
Oh my god.
no, I watched The Happening as a comedy. I'm just like, shut up. This is not a serious film. This is hilarious. But yeah, I'd say Mark Wahlberg's worst performance was in Transformers 4. I'm an inventor. This is what I do. I invent things. You would understand.
No.
You're an inventor, like me.
No,
Talking to fucking Elon
that's
Musk.
that's his best performance because in the scene he drinks a Bud Light.
Oh my
in front of the
God.
camera, and he's
This
like,
is your
"Drink Bud
car?
Light."
It's a spaceship.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg's worst performance was The Happening, though. And then it's like, okay, you have Last Airbender, you have Happening. M. Night, you must make a good film now, right? I mean, you can only go above from there. He directs After Earth.
Oh God, I completely forgot about After Earth.
I'm like,
Oh, and I was literally watching clips of it last night. I couldn't sleep, and I was just watching clips preparing for this episode.
Jaden Smith's best performance. He's like,
How bad of a director do you have to be? How bad of like a duo do you have to be to have an actual father and son have no chemistry?
Will Smith, his worst decision in his career was being in After Earth, both financially and critically, because he's like, all right, I'm going to do another film because, you know, my son Jaden was in The Karate Kid in Pursuit. He's a good actor. All right, let me get a really good director. Let me get M. Night Shyamalan, who just directed The Last Airbender. Yeah, that's a perfect one. And you know what else? I'm not even gonna be charismatic in the film. I'm gonna be the boringest character ever.
This guy actually looked at the script and was like, "Ah, desert,
That's odd.
desert,
Oh my gosh.
yeah."
The movie was so bad. I saw that in
Watched
theaters.
some class.
I saw that in theaters.
I think we watched it. I don't know if we
Probably.
You watched After Earth?
Yeah.
In what, like religion or
I
something?
think so.
That seems like
It's a very
yeah.
religious film, I guess.
It just seems Avatar vibes,
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
But I don't think the plot of it has anything to do with religion.
You know what it was? Probably the religion teacher was like, "Oh, this is Avatar, right?"
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, Mom, can we watch Avatar? We have Avatar at home. Avatar at home.
Oh no.
What would you say is worse though? After Earth or Gemini Man?
I have not seen Gemini Man. I do have a friend who defends that film
Oh yeah.
as being like a good action film.
I've heard
so-
I just wanted to put it out there because it's not a great film. So I was like, well, do you think After Earth is better or worse? Or
I will say After Earth is Will Smith's worst movie that I've seen. I would say so.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I would watch any other.
Why haven't we done an episode on Will Smith?
Well, we will.
Let's put that in. The
But
drive.
After Earth,
After Earth.
M. Night kind of had a comeback
Well, yeah, he did with
The Visit,
Yeah.
which I'm going to be honest, I was like, the twist ending is like the episode in SpongeBob. with
When the parents.
And it's like,
I
oh
love
yeah,
that.
we don't have a son. And it's just like, oh yeah, the grandparents aren't actually the
Night
grandparents.
Shyamalan probably directed that episode of SpongeBob.
No, he probably saw one of his kids watch the SpongeBob episode. Like, that's what I'm gonna. And then he just writes the twist.
called his fucking. Dude, I have an idea.
I have an idea. My kids were watching SpongeBob, and like the twist on that episode was amazing. We got to put it in this film, and it's like,
I love that every single episode we do has to come to SpongeBob.
yeah,
We should have put something about SpongeBob into our name.
yeah, something like that. But
But yeah, the
I
visit
will,
was okay.
I will say the visit was, it was better than After Earth.
It was definitely like he sunk so low.
It was like this, and it's like,
he just kind of.
it's like, I
That's the best part about hitting ground zero or rock bottom.
anything you make after, it's gonna come up.
There's no other direction to go but up.
But up, and then
Where else can we go but up? It's my Al Pacino impression
oh, okay.
from The Irishman.
Wow,
No, what the?
I'm Al Pacino.
Stop.
Dunkachino.
No, stop.
Why haven't I been in an M. Night Shyamalan movie? That'd be
Has he
cool.
not?
He hasn't.
Oh.
He could be.
Christian, have you seen any Shyamalan films?
Other than After Earth, I think that's pretty much it.
Oh, you poor thing.
Oh, maybe the Sixth Sense. Maybe,
Sixth Sense was
yeah.
good. That's his like most popular one. That's the one where
Yeah.
he got all the Oscars and stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
And like he also was young when
wasn't
he
that
directed
like his third movie or something?
it. It was okay. So
he made his Indian
Praying with Anger,
Praying with Anger,
which was a very low budget film, but you know I saw parts of it on YouTube.
when I saw it, I was thinking of you. Because I was like, I
Really?
can see Neves like doing something like this, and then like getting some acclaim, and then doing something big.
That was M.
afterwards.
Night Shyamalan's Tough.
That was.
Yo, unironically, that was kind of his Tough.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, that was.
Because
How long was it?
It was like an hour long. The Praying with Anger movie, and I was like, oh okay, like it's not amazing, but like for a student film, I could see.
Yeah, he was still a student, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was like 22, 23 when he directed it, and then he directed another film called Wide Awake, which was like a comedy family film starring Rosie O'Donnell. Completely like different from what he was going to direct next.
yeah.
which was
He
The
was
Sixth
still
Sense.
he was still finding his way.
Yeah, he also wrote Stuart Little.
He wrote Stuart Little.
Yeah.
He wrote my childhood movie.
I know. It's the craziest thing. He wrote Stuart Little, and then the same year, he directed The Sixth Sense. This guy's got range.
That's like what's his name acting in Goodfellas and then going on to be in Home Alone.
Oh, yeah. Joe Pesci, too. But yeah, like, that's what M. Night's career was like, and he was like 29 when he directed The Sixth Sense. I'm
Yeah.
like, jeez, like, that's really, really ambitious for him. And then
And then what came out after The Sixth Sense?
Unbreakable.
Unbreakable. Yeah, so he was on a career
Right?
high. And then what would you say was the one film that like brought it down before Avatar?
Village.
Village. You know what's the funniest thing about The Last Airbender too?
What?
It's like the only one that he didn't star, that he didn't have a role in.
Yeah.
Like even he was like, "Ah, this shit is terrible."
Oh, my gosh.
Like, yo, the movie was so bad.
Yeah.
It's like the casting.
I don't
was
think he had a
so-
cameo in After Earth either.
He didn't. Was
I
it?
don't
Was
think
wasn't
so.
that one like primarily Jaden and Will?
Right?
And
It
then
was more of a
CGI?
Jaden and Will Smith movie, so I don't think he made a cameo in
Not to
that.
mention, I feel like he doesn't know how to use CG. He doesn't employ CGI properly. Every film I've seen that employs CGI that was directed by Shyamalan looks like the CGI just looks terrible.
Well, he's better with simple stories.
Yeah, it's like
Don't give him like After Earth sci-fi.
yeah, but apparently they're making a Last Airbender TV show now, a live action TV show. So.
Is that gonna be good? I don't know.
Uh,
As I'm not a fan of the show, but I've heard mixed things from different people.
It's never gonna be as good as the Last Airbender. Nothing can. The Last Airbender is what I would actually say is a perfect TV show.
Yeah.
It's perfect. There's like 2 episodes out of the 70 episodes that aren't 10 out of 10.
Wow.
It's a great narrative. The characters are fantastic, especially for a kids show.
Mm-hmm.
The Last Airbender came around and shat on all of that.
Yeah.
My name is Ong. And
The acting
the
is so bad.
leave him alone.
Can we talk about Split? Because I feel like I feel like that was like actually M Night's like comeback. Because I saw Split and I heard all the good reviews. I'm like, wait. Did M Night direct like a good movie? Like an actually great movie?
Am I dreaming?
I got goosebumps, man. So I watched the movie and I was like, oh my god, like this acting's like good.
Yep.
James McAvoy is amazing in it.
James McAvoy is amazing. Period.
And then in general, like even if he's in a terrible X-Men film, I'll watch it still. But anyways, like the ending of that film, I was like, wait, there was no twist really. Like kind of, I guess, with Anya Taylor-Joy's character.
Yeah.
But that was it. I was like, hey, yeah, you don't have to go crazy with the twist. But then they make it part of the Unbreakable universe. And I was like, yo, that's amazing. And a part of me was like, I want to see more. But then another part of me was like, no, that's good.
Leave it there.
All right, don't act like hubris.
Yep.
Don't go too close to the sun.
And then what was the movie that came out afterwards?
Glass. And that's where I was like, he went too close to the sun.
Also, it's not hubris, it's Icarus.
Icarus. Oh, no,
Icarus.
hubris is the active.
Hubris is like, this is my hubris. My
Yeah,
hubris
yeah.
is
Sorry.
I procrastinate. My hubris is this.
Icarus.
Icarus was the god that flew too close to the sun.
Somebody mentioned that to me because I was talking about hubris and they're like, I saw or not externals, Eternals.
Yeah.
I can't speak today. Hey, you know what I mean.
Unique New York.
Unique New York. But yeah, Glass was disappointing. Cinematography was good.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the performances were okay. Bruce Willis was not as good as he was in Unbreakable. I'm sorry. He just kind of looked like he was going to fall asleep.
Well, Unbreakable is a fantastic film.
Bruce Willis is one of his finest performances.
Yeah.
So good. He's so subtle in it. He's like, his range is beautiful. And then you watch Glass, and he's like, I died in a puddle.
It's a very obvious step down. It's like 3 steps down, honestly.
Like, there's so many moments in the movie where I'm just like, oh, that's what he meant with this character. Like, I'm not going to go too much into it, but like Elijah Price's character, he's like a mad scientist and stuff. And my thought of his character in Unbreakable was like, no, he's a mentally ill person that was doing these terrorist acts. Like, anybody could do it.
Yeah.
He's not a mastermind. He's crazy because he thought that the comic book world was real.
Mm-hmm.
And then in Glass is like, no, he's actually smart. He's able to escape this asylum with just... And I'm like, that's stupid. That's just dumb. I'm sorry, but like...
That's what happens when you don't quit while you're ahead.
Like,
You
he literally... there's moments where it's like, it's so much better metaphorically than literally. Glass is a representation of taking parts of Unbreakable, the cleverness, and putting it literally instead of metaphorically. And that's why I thought it was a disappointment. Also, Old sucked too. His most recent one.
Old.
The Beach That Makes You Old.
Yeah.
Oh my
I
gosh.
I didn't know that came out.
Yeah.
Oh.
I saw that too, and I was like, wow. Do you want to know the twist for that?
I'm not gonna watch it. Sure.
Good. Okay, so the twist is essentially all these people are old because the island is like centered, and a bunch of scientists outside of the island are like experimenting on these people because they all have different illnesses like dementia and stuff. So like, oh, well maybe if we give them this serum, we'll leave them on this island and we'll find out the results quicker because they're aging faster. And it's this whole exposition that takes like 3 minutes. not clever at all at representing it. It's just some scientist talking to a group of people, even though the scientists would know that already because they've
Yeah.
been doing experiments for years.
That's
Yeah.
it's become too cliche at this point for like when I walk into an M Night Shyamalan film, I expect it to be a twist. Like if
Yeah.
if I was watching Split for the first time, I would be waiting for the even after the credits roll, I'd be like, when is the twist coming? The
Right.
biggest twist would probably be that there's no twist.
That's what reminded me of a film. I don't even know if it's going to get made or anything, but M. Night said that he wanted to work on a film with Bruce Willis again for
That'd
a
be
third
nice.
time. But the genre would be a rom-com. And he said it like straight-faced. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. Is this like a double layer of irony where it's like he's saying this so that people are like, "Oh, but it's actually a twist on this." And in reality,
It's a
it's
twist
just
on society.
yeah, but in reality, there is no twist, and he's just making a plain rom com with Bruce Willis. And I'm like, if he does the other way, like just a plain rom com with people thinking it's a twist, it's genius.
Yeah, yeah. It's the biggest M Night Shyamalan directed fucking
Like,
Love as It Is.
right? If he does that, I'm thinking, well, he probably won't. He'll probably do the same thing that everyone knows him for. But yeah, it's a love and hate
can't-
relationship. With
I can't
M.
wait
Night.
to watch that movie and like be at the edge of my seat, like waiting for somebody to reveal something. Like, you didn't know this, but I'm an alien.
I'm an alien.
and I'm taking over the planet.
Yeah, but that's another thing too about his twist is like in both Unbreakable and Sixth Sense, the twist is good, but there's still leverage behind it. Like Sixth Sense, it's sad
Yeah.
when you find out that he's dead. He goes to his wife and he's just like, "I think I can go now" and stuff. And then you see his ring, and then the last shot you see is a videotape of them at their wedding. It's sad.
You're gonna make me cry right now, man.
Dude, I get emotional of that. Because it's like, that's how good the movie is. Even if you take the twist out
Yeah.
and it's just that scene, it's still amazing. Unbreakable too,
Yep.
where it's like, I know who I am. I have a purpose in life and stuff. That's Elijah Price's character. Yes, he's crazy, but you sympathize because it's like, damn, like I would feel like shit too if like I was in that lifestyle
I
that
feel
he
like
had.
yeah, I feel like a lot of M Night's best films, where a lot of his like the twists were very character focused, and like
Yeah.
the movies were a lot more about the characters and not about the spectacle. You
Yeah,
know?
less about like, oh, where can I fit in a twist? Don't think that way. Try to make interesting characters. Try to make believable characters. Don't write dialogue that sounds like a robot.
Well, shit, man. Well, let's write a script.
Write a script for M.
Let's-
Night. I will say, recently he's been directing and working on a show on Apple TV called Servant. It's on its third season.
Really?
I would highly recommend it.
Gotcha.
It's probably the best thing M. Night has worked on in a long time, and I would highly recommend it. Season 3 is good. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about M. Night. I think he's a love it or hate it director.
I mean, I'd say he's both, because I love a
Yeah.
lot of his films, and then I absolutely despise a lot of his films.
Same.
So, if you're still here, thanks for sticking around.
Hell yeah.
Let us know what you think of M Night Shyamalan in the comments. You know,
Mm-hmm.
do you love him? Do you hate him? Do you love and hate him at the same time?
With passion.
You know, let us know.
Yeah.
If you've made it this far, feel free to leave a like on the video and subscribe. Check out our Instagram and our Patreon and our TikTok to see some updates,
Yeah.
as well as Twitter.
Mhm.
And yeah, we'll just talk to you guys in the next episode.
Yep. Peace out,
Peace.
y'all.